What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Jacked Up Fishing. Well, I'm doing the John boat again. We're on the next stage of the build, and now we get to do some fun stuff. Yesterday was a huge hurricane that went up the west coast of Florida. We did get some bands. It was nothing crazy, but prayers going out to the people up in the Big Bend area and all the way up into the Carolinas. They got some flooding going on, pretty crazy. So hopefully everybody gets back on their feet, and we dodged a bullet on that one for sure. Anyway, here we go. We're in the John boat. If you remember on the last video, I did all the paint. We did the camo, painted the inside, got it all ready. Now we're gonna do some EVA foam. It's a very thin, and it's an off-brand off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below. And we're gonna do the floor, the deck, and the rear seat, I think. I think I have enough. But first and foremost, I gotta seal up these cracks on the sides of the John boat. And I got a little trick that I used a long time ago. And what that does is it stops from like escapees, like shrimp, bait fish, or anything sliding down the side. And I'll show you what I'm gonna use for that. I'm gonna go get it right now and get everything ready. And I'm gonna make a template for these ribs right here, because you gotta go around each rib. And I'm gonna make a little template for that and go around it. All right, let's get started. So the first portion, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna seal up the sides. Like I was just saying to you, I've got a roll. It's called vinyl trim. That's what it looks like right there. I'm sure you've seen it. It usually sits like this on your floors in a garage or like a work area. It's vinyl trim. And what I usually do is put it like this in the boat. See how it seals it up pretty good? I'm also gonna foam in here. I'm gonna run a bead of foam. And then what I do is I cut around each one of these, make a template, go around each one, and it sits pretty good. Then I put the SEADEK or the EVA foam over the top of it with glue and everything. But it seems to work pretty good. I did it on a John boat a while back, and it worked really well. I never had an issue with it. So we're gonna do it again. All right, let's get to it. So I'm gonna start off by making a cardboard template. Just making it fit tight to these ribs on the John boat. I'm gonna trace it out, try to get it as good as I can, because this is gonna be the actual portion that seals off from the bottom of the boat. So I've got it cut. I'm just fine tuning it a little bit, making it a little bit bigger, making it fit flat, and making it just perfect. That way when I trace it onto the trim, it works great. And now you can see it fits pretty good. Perfect tolerances. And I didn't know this but until now, but all the ribs are exactly the same spacing, which makes it really cool. So I'll be able to trace this on that trim really easy. So now that I got that done, I'm going to pull the trim out. We're going to cut it to length, and then I'm going to mark the spots where the ribs are. So all I'm doing is I'm marking it right in the center of the rib, each rib, and then as you can see it's getting dark, so I'm going to have to go inside and do it inside. And here you can see I'm doing the same thing with the other side. I'm marking out and measuring, making sure I cut it to length, the perfect length, and then I'm going to mark it with the Sharpie as well, and then we'll go inside, take it inside, and do all the cutting. So my wife loves when I bring stuff inside to the dining room table and start working on it, but here it is laid out with the template. I traced it out with the Sharpie, and now I'm just cutting it with some scissors. So I have some pretty boss scissors I have in the shop, and it's cutting it pretty good, but this vinyl does cut really easy. It makes it real easy to work with, and it's very pliable, as you can see, so that makes it nice. So I'm going to cut all these rib areas out of this trim, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day. So last night I cut out the vinyl siding or the trim that I'm going to use on the edges. And then I came outside and used some foam just from Home Depot and kind of sealed up around the edges, just like that. That way it just kind of seals it up for me, and it makes it where I can put the trim down. I'm gonna put some caulk down. It does have some self-adhesive on the back, and I'm gonna stick it down with some liquid nail just to kind of give it some extra bond so it doesn't go anywhere. But it's not really structural or anything, just keeps stuff from going down the sides, getting caught up, getting stinky in the sides of the boat. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let me get going. Let me get this trim out for you guys, and we'll put this stuff down. So here's one of the sides right here. You can see it's got a bunch of the 3M adhesive on the back. I'm still going to use some adhesive of my own just to make sure, you know, that it does stay down. But here's a piece of it test fitted right now. I'm just test fitting everything, making sure the gaps around here are good. And then I'm going to clean all this foam up, try to get it down. I'd like to get it down. I got to go do something today, so I'd like to get this starting to bond, try to get a nice bond on it, try to let it cure before I go ahead and start putting this EVA foam on there. All right, let's do it. So I cleaned everything up with the foam. I cleaned it all up, scraped it all out. I'm gonna vacuum it out. Then I also test fit all the vinyl pieces in to make sure they fit perfect. Now I'm gonna clean it up, give it a good wipe down, make sure everything's clean, and then I'm gonna stick this stuff down, let it cure while I'm at a volleyball game today. So let's get this stuff done so I can get going. So where I live, there's tons of leaves and everything like that. So I wanted to make sure that I got all the leaves, everything out of the boat, all the foam pieces, and started wiping it real good. So next, I'm starting to put the caulk down. I'm using a little bit different caulk. I'm using a Power Grip, it's called. It's a little bit better than liquid nail, they said. So I started using that. It also binds to aluminum a little bit better than liquid nail. So I'm gonna start off putting one bead all the way down along the bottom edge. And then I'm going to come back and put a bead just above where I think the lip's going to be, right around that area on the side. And that's pretty much all I'm going to put down. I have the EVA foam going over top of it, so that with the adhesive backing should be bonded to the deck pretty good. So now I'm putting down the trim, and I'm just kind of setting it in place right now, getting it right where I want it, and then I'll start forcing it down and rolling it and making sure all the adhesive that I put down and the adhesive on the back of the trim is fully adhered. So as you can see, I went a little crazy with the caulking. It's sticking up above the trim, which is not very sightly, so I'm gonna have to come back, clean that stuff up a little bit, make it look a lot better. I might even have to do a little touch-up paint at the end. So I got one side stuck down already. I cleaned the caulk up and everything, and that's what it looks like right there. Let me go on this side, give you a little better view of what I got going on. So that's what it looks like right now. And all this is doing is just stopping. It's not like a seal or anything like that. It's just stopping stuff from escaping down this little crack down the side, because I didn't weld it all the way through into individual ribs. That would have took forever. So what I'm doing, just sealing this off, and then the EVA foam is going to go right over top of it, right to the edge. But this just seals it. That way, like I said, no shrimp, or we're going to be doing a lot of dipping, a lot of stuff like that. Shrimp can get down in there, and whoo, buddy, you know what shrimp smell like after a little while. Anyway, so let me get to this side, get it done. Let's go. So we're doing the same thing on this side. We're just sticking it down. We've put the caulk down, and as you can see on this side, I did a little more caulk on the bottom side. I wanted a really good bond. I wanted it to stick there and not move. We're gonna have a lot of elements, a lot of water, so I want to make sure that it definitely stays there. So I got it all stuck down. It looks real good. I'm gonna let it cure now. That's what it looks like right now. Got a little crazy with the caulk, but I'll clean it all up, give it a little shot of the camo paint, if you know what I mean. But that's after I get everything all done. The next is the EVA foam. So I'm gonna start on the front deck, of course, get it done. Let me pull this light bar off, and then we'll get going on that. So I've taken measurements, and the main thing I can say with this whole process is measure twice, cut once. That's what all carpenters do. It's a good carpenter saying, but measure twice, cut once. Make sure all your stuff fits before you start cutting. That's the big deal. So I'm just doing my measurements right now, getting it going. This stuff's a little tough to work with. They ship it to you in a box, and it's rolled up real tight, and it doesn't want to unroll. I let it sit out in the sun, did not help, so I'm just going with it. I'm gonna hold it down, make sure I got my measurements right, and then I'm gonna start cutting. As you can see, I'm using a pair of scissors, the same scissors I cut the trim with, and it's cutting really easy. Just take your time, cut nice and straight, and it should come out pretty well. All right, so I got the first piece cut. It looks really good. I got it laid on the deck with some bricks and stuff just to kind of show. It does come pretty curled up. I've been trying to let it lay out, but it is what it is. So what I'm gonna do, just to make sure, it does have peel and stick back on it. But I've seen, you know, SEADEK or EVA foam of it, all types, come up on the edges. So what I'm gonna do is I got this, I looked it up online. It's called 3M high strength spray adhesive. It's pretty serious. So what you do is you spray both sides, let it sit for a couple minutes, and then you put it down. And this stuff is there. From what I've read, it stays on pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is just really focus on the edges and anywhere it's cut in the center. Focus on maybe just giving it a quick coat, let it sit for a couple minutes, and then me and my son are gonna stick this front piece down. All right, so let's get to it. So I'm gonna start by putting, and I did a little sanding on the top deck just to kind of make sure it was smooth, there was no debris, no rough spots. And I'm coating it with this 94 3M. It's supposedly a really good adhesive. All right, got a nice coat on the deck. Now I'm gonna spray the back of the EVA here. Got it, buddy? Watch your fingers there. Can you lift it up higher for me? Thanks. They're both coated. We're gonna let it sit a couple minutes and then go to it. Stick it up there. So after a couple of minutes, we noticed it was getting real tacky. So we started putting it down. I started off with this one edge, get it nice and tight to that edge, and then we're just gonna roll it all the way to the other side and start putting it down. I was real happy on the way it went down. No bubbles in it, no air pockets, and we just pulled a razor, started cutting out where the seat goes and where the light rail went. So it came out pretty good. This first piece stuck down really well. We cut around all the little spots I needed to cut around, like the seat, everything, and it is nice, man. It came out really good. So I'm gonna continue on. We're gonna do that front section right here, and the front deck will be done. So we start sticking the front down. Of course, one side caught. Man, it is tough to get up once it just touches. You can see it right there. So you gotta be on your A game. So we sticking it very carefully, making sure we line the two seams up really well so there's no big lips or anything like that. And that's the main thing. It's funny, this little section fought us more than any other section in the boat. It just didn't want to lay right for some reason. But once we got it, it stuck down really well. Of course, you can see us fighting it to get it back up when we stick it wrong. And now I'm just cutting around everything, finishing it up. So now that the front deck is all done, it's time to start prepping for the floor. So I just need to take a little sandpaper, just kind of sand this all off, blow it off, make sure there's no debris on there. And I've been cutting out the floor piece already, as you can see with my template right here. That's what I've been doing, cutting it out. It's ready to go. I'm just gonna prep this and we're gonna get back on it. So now I've lost my second set of hands. So now I'm gonna have to try and do this all on my own. Not a big deal, I think I can get it, but I'm just test fitting everything, make sure it looks really well. And I'm just kind of contemplating in my head as I'm doing that of how I'm gonna actually put this down by myself without messing it up. So what I decided to do was pull about half off, or a little bit less than half off of the backing, and I was going to go ahead and spray the adhesive on the floor first, let it start tacking up, and then I'll spray the back of the EVA foam. Then I'll get inside the boat and kind of work it around, make sure I just go bit by bit, pulling it and going with it. Hopefully it comes out all right. So I'm giving it a good liberal coat on the bottom side of the boat there. Now, this is where actually the rolling of the EVA is actually helping me, because it's rolling back, it's out of the way, it's not sticking to itself, and that works out pretty well. So I'm pulling the paper off this section here, and then I'm going to go ahead and start sticking it down once I coat the back of the EVA. Alright, here goes nothing. I'm going to line it up best I can, try to make sure it's straight. And that's what I'm doing right here, because it is wanting to stick to each other, that's for sure. I'm able to actually finally get it. I got a spot that's stuck on me right there, but man, this stuff is tough. I was able to stick it down, make sure it's good. Now that that first portion's down, I'm just giving it a quick little walk, make sure it's nice and bonded and stuck, put a little weight on it, and then I'll stick the backside. So just like all the other pieces, I'm putting down the old 3M spray adhesive, put it on the backside and the floor, just trying to make sure that I get a good coat of it, and they're going to let it sit for a little while. After a couple minutes, I'm gonna let it stick down, fold it back over itself, and just kind of work my way back, making sure there's no big pockets, there's anything that I'm missing, but I'm just walking around, making sure it adheres pretty good. So this back piece is a little tricky because of the grab bar or the burn bar. I had to make some slits in it, but it seemed to work out okay. So I've already coated both sides of the EVA and the floor, as you can see, and I'm just kind of gonna work my way, try to hopefully it fits nice and tight. That's what I'm trying to do. But as you can see, it's stuck to that floor, buddy, and it is there. If I had a second set of hands, it would have been a lot easier, but I was able to get it, no big deal. Once I got the front portion stuck pretty good, it seemed to go pretty well. But as you can see, I was fighting that one side. You know, doing it by yourself is pretty tough. But I was, like I said, I was able to get it. I'm actually coating the floor in the back here, coating the EVA. Then after a few minutes, stick it on down. It seemed to come out really well. I was really happy with the way it's turning out, and just touching up a few spots. Now for the back seat, I had to use two separate pieces, and I seamed it right in the center. And that was just because of the amount of material I had left. I didn't have a piece to just go all the way across the back. So now I'm just coating the John boat itself with some of the 94 3M, and I'm giving it a nice good coat, and then I'll go grab that piece and put it on. Now we're gonna move the other side, do the other side, and then I'll trim around the seat post, and I think we're done here. So I got pretty much all the EVA foam down. I'm pretty pumped. It looks pretty good. I got some little touch-up things to do, but this is what it looks like. Boom, the whole thing. Exactly what I wanted. That looks pretty pimp, dude. Came out real good. It's nice and soft. It'll be cushy on your feet. It also provides some sound deadening, which I'm pretty pumped about. But let me go ahead, get all these little things buttoned up. It looks like it's gonna rain, so I gotta pick up some tools. But I'll get this all picked up. I'll get all the little punch out things done. I'll show you what it looks like. Well, it's been a long time, and we finally rounded a corner, and I'm pretty pumped about it. The EVA foam decking from Amazon looks pretty boss in here. Came out real good. It rained all last night after I put it down, and there was some edges coming up. So I got on the Whole Truth website, which is a forum, looked up what the people are doing, and some jet skiers suggested that you get this Wieldwood contact cement, coat both sides of it really good, and let it sit for a little while, about 5 minutes, and let it get really tacky, then put it down. Since I've done that, I did it on a few spots. Buddy, you cannot get this up. I mean, it is down. It is down. I mean, you can't get it up, which is a good thing. But I went through a whole bunch of it, just going around the whole boat. Anything that I felt was loose, I lifted it up, put some of that stuff underneath there, and put it down. And it really has set up pretty well. So that's a good thing. I did it all around the edges, anywhere that I've seen that I thought I needed it, and it's down there. But I'm also gonna get some more just in case I see any other spots, because you know how you turn away, go do something, come back, and you'll see something, kind of like when you're painting something. But anyway, that's it, man. I got the cooler in there. Hopefully I'll be putting some meat in there soon. Now we're to the fun part. I get to rig this bad boy up. I'm gonna rig some lights, which I've already got on order from Outrigger, and we're gonna check them out when they come in. But right now I'm gonna rig up running lights, everything to make it legal, and I'm gonna go register this bad boy, get it done. It's been a long time on the trailer, and it's ready to go out there. Well, guys, I hope you liked that video. I had a blast doing this. This was a killer little project I was able to do in a day. Wasn't too bad. I'm gonna put a link in the description below of the Amazon EVA foam that I used. They have all different colors. It's pretty cheap, and like I said, they only used about 3 rolls. Also, I'm gonna put a link for the contact cement that I used, the Wieldwood contact cement. Man, that stuff is serious. And I'll put that in the description below. And hopefully, like I said, you liked it. If you have liked this video, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It'll let you know when I'm putting videos out on the John boat. And hopefully I'll be sticking some fish soon. All right, well, I'll see you on the next video. Jacked up out.